What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Lagging Reviews, the show where I talk about movies for 15 or so minutes. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new Pixar movie Lightyear. I had my hopes really set high for this movie, but unfortunately it really did not live up to the expectations. Real quick, before I get into any spoiler stuff, I just want to give you guys my general thoughts on the movie and tell you guys some stuff about it that's not spoilers, but it's still worth talking about. This movie is surprisingly boring. I'm really disappointed with it because the trailer, the thing that had me hooked with this movie, it's the fact that it looked so mature and it looked so adult and it looked like it was going to be gritty. It looked like it was going to be action packed, but it was none of those things. It really wants to be gritty and it wants to be dark and more mature, but it really doesn't try hard enough to be that. There's times where movies will try too hard to do something, but this movie it honestly wanted to, but it didn't try at all. And I hated that because this movie, when I watched the trailer, you watch the trailer and it looks so suspenseful and dramatic and it looks so good and it looks so mature and dark. But when you watch the movie, the first act, I think the first third of it is pretty dang good. I'm not gonna lie. The first act, the first third is so well set up, and I feel like they really took their time with it, and it's well done, and I liked it so much, and it felt really suspenseful. It felt really what do you call it? It felt like it was subtle. But man, after that, right after that, the movie takes a really steep fall to just decline. It takes such a steep decline to just, just boring. It's just boring. You know, the whole movie's like, oh, to infinity and beyond. I never once felt that with this movie. Only towards the beginning. That was it. Because, look, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this cliche before. There's a cliche that happens with a lot of movies, and I'm talking a lot of movies. And I remember one that I watched as a kid was Clutch Powers. That was a movie I really loved, and I had a lot of fun with it. Clutch Powers, basically the cliche is this. You have this person who's a professional in everything he does, but he's forced to work with a team of a ragtag team that is a bunch of rookies and they don't know what they're doing, but together they all pull through and they win in the end. From the very moment that I met the team that Buzz had and I saw what the setup was going to be for the rest of the movie, I knew exactly what was going to happen. Everything was so predictable. The only thing that wasn't predictable is a twist that happens in the later half of the movie, and I won't spoil that for now, but everything was just so predictable. I already knew what was going to happen. You know, the moment you have this ragtag team, and honestly, the ragtag team in this movie, it's not even that fun to watch. The only ones that I'm really going to remember is Buzz and Izzy. That's it. I'm not going to remember the other two at all. Or that robot that they had for just a little bit. The cat was honestly the only fun character of this movie. I know Doug Walker said that as well, but other than Buzz and Izzy, and that other girl, I forgot her name, Hawthorne, I think, Hawthorne. Other than that, the cat was honestly the cat was actually kind of funny. He had some good lines and stuff. There was a lot of stuff that came back into play with the cat. And I honestly thought he was going to be annoying because I feel like, hey, you just have a cute cat there for, the kids. But no, it was actually funny. It was actually funny, and I thought it was good. The only, again, the what's it called? The gang that they had, the little ragtag group, it's so forgettable. I've honestly already forgot the two other people. And with a movie like Clutch Powers, I felt like, hey, these were actually enjoyable characters to watch. Sure, they were sort of stereotypes in a little way. You could just say, oh, this one's the kind of nerd, this one's the buff guy. But they were still enjoyable characters, and I feel like each of them really did have a part in the whole movie, and they were enjoyable to watch. These characters, I'm just bored. I'm just bored for a good majority of the time. And honestly, it feels like they're not essential to the movie. I honestly feel like at times Buzz could have done the whole thing by himself, maybe with Izzy, and that's it. I feel like they didn't need the other two. And man, it's such a old cliche, and that kind of got me mad. That got me mad because Pixar is always like, or Disney and Pixar, they always like, oh, we strive for creativity and we're for that, kind of thing. But honestly, this movie did not feel creative. It felt like they just used that same old cliche, and it got so boring so quickly. And it got me mad because there was so much potential for a Buzz Lightyear movie. I loved the way the trailer looked in it, the way it set up everything. It looked so awesome. It looked so awesome because it was just Buzz Lightyear, but like as Doomslayer. It was like him, but in such a mature style. But that's the problem with this movie. The movie, it has a mature paint style. It looks really nice and detailed. Like, imagine a painting. It looks really nice and detailed. But the moment you take off maybe the first layer of paint, afterwards you have almost nothing there, and it's the same thing as every other painting or every other movie. The moment you get past the first good piece of the movie, the rest of it is just boring. The rest of it is just like everything else. The moment you get past the first layer, it's like everything else. And that's what killed it for me. Because, dude, there's a Buzz Lightyear TV show out there. There's a Buzz Lightyear TV show, and it's awesome. And, I mean, it's not awesome, but that world, it's so cool. And I like what they did with that cartoon. And this movie, it kind of tells you, hey, this is, it tells you this. Hey, this is the movie that Andy saw as a kid, and this is what the toy's based on. It wasn't like the real life person. It was the movie that the toy was based on. Honestly, I don't think there's any similarities. There's similarities, but not enough to say, well, this toy's based on this movie. Because this movie does not feel like the Buzz action that I was really looking forward to. Because there's a big problem. I want to talk a lot about this movie, but I want to keep this review kind of short compared to other ones. With like PG-13 stuff, you can honestly do as much violence and like gory stuff as you want, but as long as it's not with blood. As long as it's not with blood, as long as it's green slime, green ooze, stuff like, or robots, because a lot of stuff like Ninja Turtles, there was a Ninja Turtles cartoon in 2012, and that one, it was amazing because it had a lot of violence in there, but the violence it didn't have to do with blood. A lot of it was ooze, and a lot of it was metal and robots and stuff like that. They'd tear them apart, and they'd rip through them with their weapons and stuff like that. That was always so fun to watch. They could have done something like that with this movie. There's a scene towards the beginning where they're like fighting these bugs, and they're slicing them up, and there's green slime everywhere from them, and I found that so fun because that was like the mature version that I was looking for. But it only lasts for that one scene, and after that they don't go like stabbing robots with laser swords and ripping them apart or anything like that, and there's not enough action for me. It honestly, like I said, the moment you take off the first layer, it's like everything else, every other Pixar movie. It's so plain. There's not enough violence, and I understand, I'm not saying violence, but there's not enough action. I honestly got a kick out of the action in Toy Story. Watching Buzz move around and the way he was throwing discs in the suit he had and all that stuff was always really fun to me. The way that they do this stuff in this movie, they'd only last for just a little bit, and after that there's nothing left. And I wanted so much more of that. And the world that they built in the Buzz Lightyear movie, it has almost nothing to do with what the toy has. And I'm so mad about that because I felt like they always like, there's like this little saying, right? It's like, to infinity and beyond. But honestly, I did not feel any sort of exploration or, when you say to infinity and beyond, where do you think you're going? That's like the kind of thing we say when we're going to go to the Mars or something. We don't say that when you're going to stay on Earth, kind of thing. Or that, it feels so grounded. It feels like a ship that wants to go off into the sunset. It wants to go off into space, but it doesn't go off into space, and instead it just stays right there where it's at, and it gathers dust for thousands of years, and it never goes anywhere, and eventually it rots. That's what it feels like. It feels like they don't do enough with it. They really don't do enough with it, and I wish they would have done so much more. I feel like it had so much potential to build this Buzz Lightyear world. And there was that's another problem. They had a Buzz Lightyear cartoon back like in 2005 or something, more or less that time. Maybe not. Maybe 2002. In that time, they had a Buzz Lightyear cartoon, and in that cartoon, they had a really zany but also well-made world that I felt like when you watch that, it actually feels like the Buzz Lightyear universe that the toy's based on. That I actually got a kick out of. I mean, not a kick out of, but when you look at that cartoon that they made, and it's not on Disney Plus for some reason, but when you look at that cartoon, I would say that's the world that Buzz Lightyear's from. That's the zany but also interesting and exploration or whatever. That world, and it's so cool to see it, and I loved it. And But this movie, it doesn't. They say, "Oh, to infinity and beyond." It doesn't feel like we're going to infinity or beyond. We're not. We're not. We're staying right where we're at, and I hate that. I wish they could have done so much more with that, and stuff like I feel like again, like if you watch the Buzz Lightyear, no, not Buzz Lightyear, but if you watch Part Two, Toy Story 2, at the very beginning, that scene where Buzz is just like inside of Zerg's place, that I would say that's some really fun action right there. I feel like it's so fun to watch, but we did not get a lot of that. And I feel like when you watch look, when you watch that little scene from Toy Story 2, the opening scene where they're in that video game, that's the kind of world that I imagine Buzz in. The movie that we got does not feel like it's a part of that universe. And if it's not a part of that universe and it's disconnected, and again, it's trying to be more of an adult adaptation of it, I still don't feel like it's an adult adaptation of it. It doesn't feel like that at all. I do want to talk about Tim Allen getting replaced, though. A lot of people were mixed on that, but honestly, I think Chris Evans did an awesome job as Buzz Lightyear. I feel like he did a much better, not really better, but a really fun take on Buzz. Maybe not fun. I don't know. It's hard to say. The Buzz in this movie is all right. It's all right, but Chris is not impersonation. It's weird. His impersonation and also his take on Buzz Lightyear is also really fun. I loved it, especially since he's Captain America. He's that action hero already. So you have him play Buzz Lightyear, and I feel like he does a great job at doing that. I would have loved to see Tim Allen voice another character who I'll talk about later. I'll give a little spoiler warning before I talk about that. But there was another character where I feel like Tim Allen 1000% should have played that character. I don't know why he didn't. But I feel like, again, Chris Evans, I feel like he did a great job with this, especially considering this is a different version of Buzz than the one we're used to. Trying to think of what else there is, because there's plenty more to talk about. It all comes later. There's also just the whole idea of the movie really wants to balance being a kids movie but also being gritty. Again, like I said earlier, it's like they have a layer, and then the moment you take that one layer off, there's nothing left. That's what the movie feels like, but it's also hard because I saw the very first opening scene. I was really excited for we're exploring this planet, and after that, they get this weird scene. It's a very cringe sort of scene, and it's with there's like a rookie, like a new cadet or something, and then he's like, it's a really stupid joke. It's just like, oh, don't give me the cadet eyes or something like that, or the rookie eyes. I don't know. It's supposed to be like a puppy eyes joke or something like that. Stuff like that. I feel like that doesn't need to be there. It doesn't need to be there if you're trying to be more gritty. A lot of the jokes in this movie don't land. The only ones that actually landed or kind of got a chuckle out of me was like the ones with the cat. That was basically it. Everything else just feels really bland, and I feel like the movie wants to be gritty, but it doesn't try at all to be gritty and dark. It doesn't at all. The animation, I'll say, is beautiful in this movie. It's amazing, and it's so cool to see Pixar's movies being put to this kind of atmospheric setting, because movies like Turning Red, Luca, stuff like that, I feel like the animation's great on those movies, but I don't think it's really it's not too atmospheric. You'll watch it and it looks okay. It looks good. And it looks really nice. But when you watch something like Soul, Onward, this movie, Lightyear, you'll see that atmosphere and it looks so amazing. Because it really shows those movies, I feel like, really show what Pixar can do with their animation. And I was really disappointed because I feel like they could do something. And I felt like this movie could have broke limits. It could have destroyed barriers. It could have destroyed walls. And it could have started going forward into infinity and beyond. But instead, it stays right where it's at. And it tries to push a little forward. But the moment it realizes there's a wall, it decides to go back. And that's not good. I don't like that. It sucks because it could have been way more violent and dark and gritty, but it decides not to, and it backs up. And it's like, for the rest of the movie, it's kind of like, hey, I forgot we're a kid film. Let's stay a kid film. Let's not try to grow up with our audience. That's disappointing. Again, when I saw the trailer, the one thing that had me hooked was the idea of Buzz in a more dark, realistic setting, and I loved that. That was so fun to me, but it was not that. It definitely was not that. It was just, if I were just a little bit, and then afterwards, that's all you have. Yeah, it was a Pixar kids movie, and I hated that. I wish they could have done so much more with that. And there's a little spoilers from now on, just a little bit of spoilers, but there was something like they could have done, like towards the end they have the jetpack and stuff like that. They have they have a bunch of references to the original Toy Story movies. I love those references. They had a reference to like the whenever Buzz would have like whenever there was a shot that was inside of Buzz's helmet, it would be like looking outwards, right? You'd see the reflection of Buzz's face on the glass, and I love that they do a bunch of little references to that. They do the whole like, "Oh, you're mocking me, aren't you?" They reference like the little buttons and what they're for, kind of thing. That stuff I like. There's a lot of nice little references. I feel like they could have done more though. When Buzz is in space on the jetpack, which he only gets towards the end of the movie, which I think he should have had for way longer. If he had it, If he had it for way longer, I would have enjoyed it more. Especially the laser. The laser pointer, he doesn't get that till the end. A lot of stuff like that, he should have got it towards the beginning. I wanted to see. I think I would have loved it way more if it was all like the cartoon where he's already a space stranger. And he's already got the full gear, and he's already got the laser gun, and he's already got like everything, and then you can have all the fun you want. Here it feels like, hey, well, we have to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait until we finally get the fun we want with the suit, and then it doesn't even last very long. It really doesn't last very long. And Buzz, I feel like there's a scene at the very end. Buzz has the jetpack for the first time in the movie, and instead of like blasting off into space or stopping the rocket that's heading towards Earth, they could be like, he doesn't say to infinity and beyond or anything like that. He could have said something like that, and it would have been cheesy, but we would have loved it. But we don't get nothing like that. There's not enough fan service. And I feel like there could have been way more of that. And let's talk about Zerg, because Zerg in this movie, he's pretty bad. He's a bad character. I honestly actually sided with the bad guy 100% in this movie for a lot of reasons. Basically, Zerg is not, spoilers, big spoilers. Zerg is not his father. It's not Buzz's father. But I would have loved if he actually was Buzz's father. I don't care if it's a Star Wars spoof. I don't care if it's a little parody. We've seen it 100 times. I would have loved it. It would have been cheesy, but it would have been in the zany Buzz Lightyear world that we had from the toys. And I would have loved that. I would have loved it, but it's not like that. It's not like that at all. Buzz... Basically, I'm not going to really explain it too much. It's future Buzz. It's basically Buzz from the future, and it's stuff like that. Again, I'm not going to really explain it. I'm expecting the people that have watched the movie are at this part right now. But basically, it's Buzz from the future, and he wants to fix the mistake of his past, and he wants to make a time machine and go back in time and reset everything. And new Buzz is just like, well, no. These guys have families, and these guys have families, and if you do that, they'll all be erased. I honestly side with old Buzz this time, Zerg. If you restart time, you get to undo your mistake. These people get to have a happier, better life. Most of the families would have still been born. They still would have been born in the following years. If it was meant to be, it was meant to be, kind of thing. And I don't feel like it was... I feel like Buzz is kind of the villain here, Imagine living in fear your whole life. Stuff like that. It just like, I don't know. It's just... I didn't like it for the most part. I don't know. I actually side... It's like Thanos. It's like Thanos in a way. I actually side with Thanos a little bit. I actually side with Zerg a little bit in this movie. And because I feel like I see their point of view, and I see their point of view, and I understand their point of view, and I liked it. And another big problem with this movie, I don't know how long this review is. I really hope it's not that long. It's probably like 30 minutes by this point. I hope it's not that long. But I have a lot to talk about. Hopefully I'm keeping it interesting. A lot of this movie's really rushed as well. I feel like the first act, not the first, I don't know how you say, the first act or the first third, that is what I feel is so well set up, and I feel like it's very well done. But after that, like I said, everything goes downhill, but it also gets really rushed. They have these characters that they want us to get attached to, and the rest of the Ragtag Team, right? They want us to get attached to that team, and I'm not attached to them at all by the end of this movie. I don't find them too fun as characters. I don't find them very fun as characters, and I don't get attached to them because I feel like a lot of it feels so rushed, kind of forced. In a movie like Clutch Powers, again, it's the same sort of cliche. Professional has to be with teamed up with a bunch of ragtag teams kind of thing. I feel like a movie like that, the characters were way more enjoyable, and I feel like it actually wasn't rushed. We don't wait until halfway through the movie to actually be introduced to these characters. This movie, it's like, okay, we're halfway through the movie. We need to hurry up. We gotta do this and that and that. We have to, all that nice, good juice and all that stuff. We gotta be happy and all that. And I don't, it was just so rushed. And I did not grow attached to them. And towards the end, I'm just kind of like, Buzz, you really did that? You really ditched all of the best for this ragtag team that we barely got attached to? It wasn't even like a fun ragtag team. And I remember, I think they stole this. I want to say they stole this from the Buzz Lightyear cartoon that they made. I want to say in the Buzz Lightyear cartoon, Buzz likes to work alone as well. And Buzz has to have a sort of group. He has to have a little team now. I want to say that was a thing in that cartoon. And again, when I look at that team, because they do have a team. I'm not sure if it was that way though. But looking at that team that Buzz had in the cartoon, I would say, yeah, that's a really cute, zany, but also imaginative world. And I would say that's what I imagine Buzz's squad to look like. The squad in this movie, no, I don't feel like that doesn't feel Buzz Lightyear. A lot of it doesn't feel Buzz Lightyear. Again, I feel like the movie's always trying to balance one thing or the other, and it doesn't do either. And the first part of this movie, I actually enjoyed. I actually thought it was super creative, the way they're stranded in time. We're not stranded on this planet, but it's because of time travel, and I felt like that was all so creative, and I felt like that was good. But after that, they're like, oh, it feels like, and Doug Walker said this as well, that it feels like two different scripts, but it's because of different sci-fi scripts. I'm saying, for me at least, it feels like two different people were writing this movie, and both of them had severely different ideas of how the movie should come out. The third feels so creative and it feels so well done, but after that it feels like the other writer was just like, hey, you know what we should do? And maybe there were two writers, who knows. They're like, hey, you know what we should do? We need to go, we need to just do this old cliche, professional, he likes to work alone, but he has to work with a team now. I don't want to see that, bro. I've seen that so many times, and they don't do any twists with that. The only cool twist was which again was super rushed, was Old Buzz. I feel like Old Buzz as Zerg was a cool, interesting idea, but it's so rushed. They don't take their time with it, and I feel like that's probably the most rushed thing in this movie. He gets no development. As a villain. And he puts on the Darth Vader mech. He puts on, I don't like that it was a mech. I would have rather it been like a normal suit, but instead it's a mech. He puts on the Darth Vader Zerg mech, and next thing you know, he's the villain. That's not cool. I want to see more. Why is he the villain? Why is exactly he the villain? He could have just worn his old Buzz Lightyear suit for all we know. That could have been what he wore. He could have just worn that, and it would have been all right. But that's not how it went. I don't know. He's not very villainous. He's not very evil. He's not very cool as a villain either. He's not like Thanos, where he kind of looks like a villain, but he also looks like a hero. So he's kind of both. He's both in a way. It depends on the perspective. This movie, I feel like you could have done the same thing, but instead, he just puts the Darth Vader Zerg armor on, and now he's the villain. No, bro, you gotta develop him. You have to develop this character more. Why is he evil? Is it like other villains where you need to have him bad because he's the bad guy, the opposing force? Okay, but can we go deeper into his side? We know he's bad, but can we go deeper? Like Thanos. Thanos had a deeper side to his meaning and stuff like that, and I liked that. Here he gets zero development. He gets nothing, and I would have liked way more of that. Also, I don't want to talk about this too much, because I really don't like to stick my nose in this, but because I know you can't, honestly, nowadays with the whole internet thing. But I honestly think Buzz is the father or grandfather, I guess, of Izzy. I think Buzz is the father. You are the father. I actually think he's the dad of Izzy. Think about it a little more. Think about it a little more, and the more you think about it, the more it'll make sense to you guys. I'm not gonna talk about it anymore because YouTube. Let's just say YouTube. Uh, I think Buzz is the father though, but I don't really know what else there is for me to talk about Pixar. There's nothing really more else that I want to talk about this movie other than the fact, because I've already basically said everything I like about it. Is it a good movie? No, it's not like it's not insultingly bad. If you go take your kids to go watch it or something, they're gonna enjoy it. But honestly, you might as well boot up the old TV, the cassette, whatever. Go turn on Disney Plus. Go watch the old Toy Story because that's an infinitely better movie. This movie, even I don't think it has enough action to keep kids entertained, and I don't think it has enough deep meaning after the first third to keep adults interested. I don't think it has, either one. Again, it tries to balance both, but it doesn't do either. Um, I would recommend you go check this out, but not in theaters. I'd recommend you guys go check this out when it comes to Disney Plus. It will eventually come to Disney Plus, but I would not recommend you really go watch this in theaters. If you really want to, you think it might be fun regardless, then go watch it. Go ahead. But from a critical side, I'd say that this is definitely it's better than Pixar's recent movies like Luca and Turning Red, but it's just not. It's not the expectations. You watch that trailer and you think, hey, Pixar's finally learning and they're growing up with us and they want to make something more dark and gritty. That's not what you're going to get. Your kids are probably going to be satisfied. The little people are going to be satisfied. Not in that way. I didn't mean that way. I didn't mean it that way. The kids are going to be satisfied with it. But I don't think it has enough for adults. A lot of Pixar's recent movies don't have enough for adults. I feel like, again, if you just want to watch a movie and enjoy it regardless, then this could be your movie kind of thing. But if you're looking for something any deeper, this is not what you're gonna be disappointed. But again, if you guys want to do that, then that's all right. Enjoy it. I enjoyed it to some extent, but there were some things that really disappoint me. That really did disappoint me with this movie. Did you guys watch this movie? I'd love to know because I love to hear other opinions and I love to see what other people saw that I did not see. I'll see you next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really means the world to me. Again, let me know in the comments. Did you guys watch this movie? Did y'all enjoy the movie? Did you guys have any other opinions or thoughts that y'all would like to share with me? Again, I love to chat with you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you guys. Please make sure to check out the rest of my videos that I have on my channel. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. God bless you guys, and I'll see you all next time.
No time to question my moves. I stick to the